With the new school year approaching and the Delta variant surging, New York City is pulling out all the stops to get students vaccinated,
including bringing in superheroes to help. CBS 2's Jenna DeAngelis has a story.
Lighting up a Times Square billboard is a new Marvel comic unveiled Wednesday, Avengers, We Are Resilient. Surrounded by superheroes from Spider-Man to Captain America, who are actually real-life heroes, are healthcare workers.
These doctors, nurses, and personnel were right there fighting this battle from the beginning.
This campaign with Marvel Entertainment and Somos Community Care targets teens 12 and up, especially in communities of color, encouraging them to get a COVID-19 vaccine for Vax to School.
Science, not science fiction, science dictates that the only way for people to remain safe is to get vaccinated.
Starting this week, kids can get a copy of the limited edition issue of The Avengers with the vaccine, like this teen.
Now that I got the shot, I feel more safe and secure.
The vaccine pop-ups are in Times Square, Maria Hernandez Park in Brooklyn, and on 149th Street in the Bronx.
You too can become a superhero if you get vaccinated.
Well, let's talk a little bit about something that is going on in Eatonville, Washington. This high school there in Eatonville, they've got this program. If you are on a sports team, regardless of the team, you've got to wear this ankle tracker. It's kind of like an ankle bracelet. Right. Sure, absolutely. An
ankle bracelet or a prisoner.
It's the same thing. Anyway, what they're doing is they're trying to figure out, the school in their wisdom said, okay, we're trying to keep the kids socially distanced, so we're going to get a contract with this company for these ankle trackers. It's got visual and audible sensors when kids are too close to each other. So if I'm within, whatever they set it for, 6 feet of another kid with another ankle monitor, it goes off. The whole idea is to keep the kids apart, but then the parents found out about it. Hey, wait a minute. The school is tracking the children, and the school said, look, they leave it at school. We're not tracking your kids. But one mother said, ankle bracelets are for criminals, not for kids.
Right, and so they're having a school board meeting tonight because now they're saying, all right, we won't make you do this until we hear the community's input. This is from the school's superintendent, Gary Neal. He says, we received grant funding that specifically included provisions to support higher risk athletic programs. And we used some of those funds to pay for athletic proximity monitors. We are using these monitors for high contact and moderate indoor contact sports. The monitors are for both staff, coaches, and students on the field, regardless if they are vaccinated or unvaccinated. If a student or coach tests positive, we will have immediate information regarding athletes and coaches and contacts so we can more tightly determine who might need to quarantine.
Right, and of course, approach that Delta is taking. We've seen this from airlines deciding how are they going to get more employees vaccinated. United said you've got to be vaccinated by a certain date, otherwise you lose your job. Now Delta is saying if you're not vaccinated by November 1st, it will cost you. So here is the mandate, if you will, from Delta. November 1st is the deadline. Unvaccinated workers will be hit with a surcharge, a monthly $200 surcharge on their health insurance if they are not vaccinated. In announcing the new policy, Delta CEO Ed Bastian said the average hospital stay for COVID-19 has cost Delta $50,000 per person. This surcharge will be necessary to address the financial risk the decision to not vaccinate is creating for our company. You take a look at shares of Delta, keep in mind that 75% of the employees are already vaccinated. What about the other 25%? That comes out to about 17,000, 18,000 employees. They are not vaccinated. So they've got 75,000 employees. The goal is to get as close to having complete vaccination for all employees, and that's why Delta is taking this approach. Quickly, also want to talk about American and Southwest. If you look at the 4 largest airlines in the U.S., you now have United and Delta setting vaccine mandates, if you will, but you haven't heard anything from Southwest and American. Both airlines say they highly encourage their employees to get vaccinated, but at this point, neither of those 2 airlines has made a decision to follow what we've seen from United.
Running out of room in the city, the Premier headed west, striking a quarantine deal with Toowoomba businessman John Wagner.
Good morning, Toowoomba. Well, it's a bit windy and cold up here today.
As hotel capacity feels the heat and Delta rages in southern states.
We've got to get on with this. It is a race. This is a race.
Moving ahead with plans to transform this block of land near Wellcamp Airport into a quarantine hub for up to 1,000 returned travellers.
I'm pleased to announce that my government has reached agreement with John Wagner and the facility in Toowoomba will be built.
Modelling it on the Howard Springs complex in the Northern Territory. The first 500 rooms are expected to be ready by the end of the year.
To make sure that we have the best fit-for-purpose regional accommodation facility for return travellers that there is in the country or in fact the world.
Initial design plans include a mixture of single, double and family style cabins. Balconies for the 1,000 rooms will also be included, but hallways will be banned to limit the risk of a COVID leak between rooms.
The work has started now. It's time for the politics to end.
But perhaps it hasn't. Asked whether the Prime Minister knew about the announcement.
Quite sure he does now.
We've made it very clear that that facility did not meet the national guidelines.
Scott Morrison repeatedly knocking back the idea, and now...
Good for them, and I wish them every success.
The Mayor also caught off guard.
It was very, very clear that we had been bypassed in the conversation.
More than 400 jobs are expected to be created during construction, but the government's refusing to say how much the Wellcamp hub will cost taxpayers, saying it's commercial in confidence.
I'll tell you, it's a lot cheaper than Pinkenba.
In a partnership with the Commonwealth, the 1,000-bed facility in Pinkenba at Damascus Barracks is set to open next year. But there are no
freedom to wear no mask, but you know something, you're a schmuck for not wearing a mask.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is not holding back when it comes to calling out anti-vaxxers and those refusing to wear a mask. The former California governor spoke with former National Security Council staffer Alexander Vindman and CNN's Bianna Golodryga, admitting he's disgusted with the vaccine disinformation being spread on the internet and those gullible enough to believe it.
A year and a half later, we are still in a mess. And, there's still people that live in denials. There's still people that don't believe in masks. There's still people out there that say, well, we don't have to do social distancing and all this kind of stuff. And I just think that people ought to be reminded over and over that the experts are saying that we have to wear masks, especially when you go indoor. The experts are saying we still should wash our hands regularly. We should still do social distancing, especially now with this the comeback of the virus, which is the fourth round now. That we have to really go and work together on that. And there is misinformation out there. And people should know there is a virus here. It kills people. And the only way we prevent it is to get vaccinated, to wear masks, to do social distancing, washing your hands all the time, and not just to think about, well, my freedom is being kind of disturbed here. No, screw your freedom. Screw your freedom.